What is up, guys? I've got some cool stuff to tell you about this week. Here's a little sneak peek. You know, Call Your Mother, that really popular deli, where they're finally coming out to Prince William County here where I live. OpenAI just spent some serious money moving to downtown DC with some office space, and we're talking about why Patrick O'Connell showing up at a local food festival is bigger the deal than you actually think it might be. Plus, I've got to go back to Winchester because you guys went off in the comments on that video, and honestly, some of the numbers are worth saying again in case a few of you may have missed it. So let's get into episode 8 of Real NoVa Network. All right, so let's kick things off with my favorite thing to talk about, food, of course. But I will tell you what, though, I've actually lost a lot of weight. I was 480 pounds. I just got down to 299, which is a huge celebration for me. But get this, coming to Prince William County to Gainesville is going to be Call Your Mother Deli. It caught my attention since they've been popping up all over the DMV, but they've never made it out to Prince William County until now. So here's the thing, they just filed permits to take over the old Cold Stone Creamery spot at Virginia Gateway in Gainesville, located at 7372 Atlas Walkway. We're talking 1,353 square feet and a grab and go setup with no indoor seating, which is pretty normal for smaller spots like this. And speaking of food, wait until you hear which 3-star Michelin star chef is showing up at a local Northern Virginia food festival. I'll get into that in just a minute. Now, the building's permit is still waiting, but the address check got approved on August 20th, so this is moving forward. And actually, I think they got some signs out there as well. But here is why it matters more than just any other bagel shop showing up. Federal Realty Investment Trust bought Virginia Gateway for $215 million back in June of 2024, which I actually broke on my Instagram at Chris Colgan team. So that's not pocket change, and they're not dropping that kind of money on places they think are going nowhere. The numbers explain it. The average household income within 3 miles is $184,000. I mean, that is incredible. You've got Targets, Lowe's, Giants, Rockwood, all kinds of great Regal cinemas, and they all anchor the center, plus 95% occupancy when Federal Realty actually took over that Virginia Gateway shopping center. Call Your Mother picking Gainesville for their very first Prince William County spot isn't random. This brand knows exactly where their customers are, and it looks like their customers are moving out west. The plan is to open late 2025 or early 2026. Honestly, this shows Gainesville isn't just catching up to places like Reston or McLean, it's turning into spots brands actually want to claim. This is the kind of development that makes a place more attractive long-term. It's not just about convenience, it proves the market is strong enough to bring in some premium brands and restaurants. Now, before I get into the next story that's going to blow your mind, if you want the real scoop on what's driving property values here in Northern Virginia, you need to hit that subscribe button. I mean, like, now hit it. I don't know why I got so aggressive with you right there. Whether you're buying your first townhome or buying in a luxury market for $10 million, these business moves tell us everything about where the smart money is going here in Northern Virginia. All right, so ChatGPT's parent company just leased over 14,500 square feet on the 5th floor of the Gallup building at 901 F Street Northwest. Pretty cool, right? The lease was just signed in June, and they're planning to open in March of 2026. But this isn't just any office space either. They're calling it part of the workshop where government leaders and policymakers can test OpenAI's tech in person. Basically, it's a showcase to shape how AI gets regulated. They've got 30 employees in DC right now, but the new spot gives them a lot more room to grow here in the DMV region. And here's the part that really grabs me. OpenAI is reportedly about to become the highest valued startup at over $500 billion, which is absolutely insane. When companies with that kind of value start hiring in our own backyard, that's serious money coming into the local economy. Chan Park is running the office along with Joe Larson, who joined from Andorra in July. These aren't random hires. This is a sharp government relations setup. And speaking of things happening in the area, I'll soon share the wine country activities happening right here in NoVa this fall. Now, from a real estate point of view, this is the type of announcement that boosts demand for high-end housing. AI companies pay really well, and their people usually want homes near the metro and near strong schools. I had a client last month from one of these tech companies, and their budget was way beyond what I normally see. If OpenAI is bringing more of the energy out here, property values are only going to go one way, and that is up. The timing is interesting, too, since Congress is trying to figure out how to regulate AI without shutting down innovation. Having a space where lawmakers can see the tech up close is a really smart move on OpenAI spot. Now, the next story might not seem like a huge deal at first, but you gotta hear me out. Here's the thing, Chef Patrick O'Connell and the Inn at Little Washington are joining the Taste of NoVa on October 12th. For those who don't know, this is DMV's only 3 Michelin star restaurant. O'Connell has been called the Pope of American cuisine. That's actually a really good name. And he's been shaping Virginia's food scene for about 50 years. The event's happening at the National Museum of the U.S. Army in Fort Belvoir, and Northern Virginia Magazine is giving him a Lifetime Achievement Award. He's also doing a fireside chat with NBC4 as well. And speaking of cool stuff grabbing attention, in a minute I'm going to share this Winchester numbers that had you guys completely losing your minds in the comments on my other channel. Now, here's why this matters to real estate. When a chef like O'Connell starts showing up at local Northern Virginia events, that signals that our food scene is getting noticed nationally. This isn't just some random suburban food festival anymore. You've got Danny Kim with over 10 million followers showing up, Joel Hosh from High Speed Dining, plus more than 120 restaurants are taking a part of this crazy event. Premium dining and cultural events boost property values in ways most people don't realize. When an area gets known for high-end experiences, it attracts buyers who want that lifestyle, not just a place to sleep. And the fact that O'Connell thinks Northern Virginia is worth his time tells you something about where this market is heading. The Inn at Little Washington charges over $300 per person for dinner, and their clients aren't exactly looking for starter homes, right? Areas that can support this level of dining and cultural events usually see steady property appreciation over time, and it's not the only factor, but it's definitely one of them. Okay, so this next one is just fun, but it also shows you the kind of lifestyle perks that come with living in Northern Virginia. So we've got 3 wineries doing grape stomping events this fall. First, you've got Barrel Oak Winery in Delaplane is hosting their Stomp Harvest Party on September 27th for $50. You've got live music, seasonal wine flights, and harvest bites all along with the stomping. Bluemont Vineyard is also running grape stomping on weekends starting September for $29. That includes a welcome glass of sangria, stomping experience, and a keepsake towel. Potomac Port Winery in Stafford is doing their harvest party on October 18th with a full day of activities from 11 to 7. That's their only grape stomping event for the year. Now, I know this sounds like just like weekend fun. Well, when I'm showing houses of people moving from other states, stuff like this does really matter. They're trying to find real wine country that's not, you can't find in like a Boston or Chicago, right? Like we are the next Napa Valley, and we're literally right here in Washington, D.C. Now, being close to wine country is a selling point for Northern Virginia homes. I know people from California who were shocked we had this kind of food scene here. They ended up choosing Loudoun County specifically to be near wineries, like not just like this. But it's not just about the wine either. These events bring in tourism dollars, support local businesses, and create the kind of community vibe that makes people want to stay long term. All of that helps property values. You know what's crazy was I was just reading recently that Loudoun County had the most amount of tourism dollars spent out of any county in all of Virginia. And that really blew my mind because you think about like Arlington, Alexandria, and then of course you've also got like Norfolk and Virginia Beach, right? So it's crazy the amount of tourism that is coming here. Now I'm sure Dulles Airport obviously helps with that, right, being in Loudoun, but you know what? Loudoun County is doing really well when it comes to tourism and visitors for sure. All right, so I covered Winchester in a recent video, but based on the comments, I need to go over and look at this again because some of you think I'm totally crazy and others are looking at houses there. Here's the deal. Winchester is officially Virginia's fastest growing city with 1.5% annual growth rate. The state average is 0.7%, so that's more than double the norm. Population hit 29,294 as of July of 2024, and the Winchester metro area ranks second in all of Virginia economic strength. Not Norfolk, not Richmond, Winchester, Virginia. The job market is actually stronger now than it was before COVID, which you can't say about most places, right? Median home price is around $395,000, and houses sell on average for 25 days with multiple offers coming during the first week. Here's what's really got people talking in the comments: the savings compared to Northern Virginia. A house that costs $500,000-$600,000 in Winchester is easily going to be about $1.2 million in Fairfax or Arlington. But the location isn't just isolated as some of you would think. Right off Interstate 81, about an hour from DC with Shenandoah University hosting 4,000 students. John Hanley High School ranked among Virginia's best, and Laurel Ridge Community College running the state's largest dual enrollment program. All these local stories are interesting, but really matters for your wallet is what's happening with prices, inventory, and contract activity across all of Northern Virginia. Now, I've been working with clients who moved to Winchester and they're not looking back. One couple went from $2,000 rent in Arlington to an $1,800 mortgage on a house they actually own. When the math is that clear, it's kind of hard not to argue against that, right? The key is realizing that remote work has definitely changed the game if that is still available for your job. I'm seeing a lot more people. My cousin just moved. He works at a data center. I think he might actually work for Verizon, and he moved to Front Royal. And if you can work from anywhere, why pay Northern Virginia prices when you can get twice the amount of house and it's just an hour away? But I get the pushback too. It's not for everyone, and commuting every day would just be rough for sure. I definitely couldn't commute from Winchester into DC, but the sweet spot is probably hybrid schedules of people who work mostly remote, and you only got to go to DC once or twice. One of my buddies just got a job with Google. He doesn't live in Winchester. He lives out past Warrenton, and he told me he goes in twice a week. And he's like, you know what, man? 3 days I get to work from home. Twice a week I go into DC. It's not that bad. He's got a couple acres, tons of land, and he just wouldn't have that for the price he paid for this big house with a pool out where he is if he was in Fairfax or Arlington. All right, guys, another week of what's really happening in Northern Virginia real estate. What do you think? Ready to make the drive out to Gainesville for Collier Meller Deli Bagels when they open? Surprised that OpenAI is dropping serious money on downtown DC office space. Planning to check out any of these great stopping events? Drop a comment, let me know which story grabbed your attention this week. And if you're thinking about making a move, whether it's buying your first place, selling to upgrade, or just seeing Winchester make sense for you or anywhere in the DMV, email me, info@colganteam.com. And if you want weekly updates on stories that actually affect Northern Virginia property values, make sure you hit that subscribe button. From local business moves to market trends to the lifestyle stuff that makes the areas more attractive, we cover it all right here. I'll see you at the top or from the top.